Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to watch a new version of an old game which all of you have played, and some of you may recognize. Adaptation. An exciting contest in which anyone can win simply by figuring out the rules and overcoming the odds. Watch closely as our first contestant, Mr. Phil Benson, attempts to win the adaptation prize by finding the security square concealed somewhere on our game board. Should Mr. Benson accomplish this before his time runs out, he will be entitled to a super bonus card. A blank card that he can exchange for any prize he wishes. And now, if our contestant will take his position, please. Ladies and gentlemen, what Mr. Benson does not realize is that he himself can label any space on our board the security square and declare himself the winner whenever it occurs to him to do so. And now, seeing that our players are also in position, we'll begin our game. You are born. Move 3 spaces forward and enter the world as the son of urban liberal, middle-income, Protestant, white American parents.
Harry, it's a boy.
I heard.
I'm going to name him Phil. There's no reason for it. I just like the sound of the name.
It's a good name, Phyllis.
Are the painters finished yet?
Not yet. As a matter of fact, they haven't shown up yet. Neither has the girl from the state employment agency, and I didn't have time to clean the apartment myself because the freezer defrosted during the power failure on Thursday, and I had to spend all day Saturday shopping for specials. And after that, I had to go to the bank and get them to extend our loan for another 30 days so I can pay the rent and the first premium on the all-new inclusive life insurance policy, which guarantees that should I have a coronary before Phil is 12, you and he will be able to maintain the same standard of living you now enjoy.
Oh, Harry, I can't wait to go home and get back to normal.
You are 5 days old. Leave the hospital and start life.
Taxi! 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 Taxi!
Which way you headed?
Downtown?
I don't go downtown.
Actually, you know you can't refuse a fare. I could report you to a policeman.
I am a policeman.
Oh, sorry. Bus!
You arrive home, score 1 point for maturity, and move to the nearest new stage of development square.
Look, Harry, he recognizes us. Mommy. Daddy.
You have just had your first breakdown in reality testing. Forfeit 1 maturity point and advance to the nearest health through information square.
Mommy, how does the baby get into the mommy's stomach? Via sexual relations between a man and a woman, Phil. The sperm cell fertilizes the ovum, which then travels down the fallopian tube and implants itself into the uterus. And after 9 months of interuterine growth, it's ready to give birth.
Mama, what's sex?
Sex is a word used to define the differentiation between the male and female germ cell, Phil. Now, the male germ cell, the spermatozoon, has an organ of locomotion known as the flagellum. It swings up the fallopian tube where it meets the female germ cell, or ovum, which it then fertilizes.
Mom, what's a Negro?
Sit down, Phil. Now, Mama wants to explain something to you. Phil, now you know when you see a flower, sometimes there's a white flower, and sometimes there's a dark flower. And they both grow in the same garden, side by side, and receive equal portions of sun and rain. And bees go to both of them because bees like dark flowers just as much as they like white. And that's why when we say the word Negro, we must think of something very, very beautiful that God gave to white people to enjoy. Oh, and we must remember not to use the word outside the context of a sentence that has to do with social justice. Do you understand, Phil?
Uh-huh.
You learn to dissemble, score 2 points for maturity, and advance to public school.
No student will be permitted to use the staircase staircase in the West Annex or the West staircase in the North Annex during first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh period. Any student caught using the elevator without a pass from the dean will be graded down 10 points for living with others. Remember, you are only second graders, but any bad mark you receive now may keep you from getting into the college of your choice. You are now dismissed for free play.
You reach third grade without incident. Advance 3 spaces and take an opportunity card.
Your fat
That's father.
your father tries.
Your father tries to establish a rapport. Advance to the nearest family square.
How was school today, Phil?
Fine, Dad.
Everything all right in school, eh?
Yes, Dad.
No problems with your teachers?
No, Dad.
And everything all right otherwise?
Yes, Dad.
Well, that's good to hear, Phil. Keep up the good work.
I'll try, Dad.
And let's try to talk like this again soon.
You have made friends with your father. Score 1 point for maturity and become 9 years old.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And now, take 2 baby steps forward to the end of latency.
May I?
Yes, you may. And now, take 1 giant step into prepubescence.
May I?
Yes, you may. Take a giant step forward. Take a giant step forward. You are having an identity crisis. Your mother is called to the school for a conference with the school principal. Advance to the nearest isolation square.
Well, what did he do, Mr. Ashley?
He wrote something scurrilous on the walls about one of the other students who happens to be colored.
Well, what did he write?
Jim is a dark flower. Naturally, Jim is outraged. We're trying to appease his mother now, but she's threatened to release the story to the New York Post, which would destroy the image we have tried to create for this school as a substandard but equal. Frankly, Mrs. Benson, it's a dilemma.
Your parents are in conflict. Remain on your isolation square until a decision has been reached.
Harry, Mr. Ashley thinks that we need professional help. What do you think?
Why send him into treatment when for a little less we could put him in a private school? We could not only have a corrective emotional experience, but make contacts with wealthy Jewish children, which would help him later in life should he want to go into show business or medicine.
You are sent to a progressive private school. Advance 3 squares to social inflation.
All students who wish to march on Washington must see Ginky, their homeroom teacher, in room 401, or Butch, the school librarian, in study hall. Those marching must have a note from their parents and must be dressed neatly, in a suit if he is a boy, and in a dress if he is a girl. Hair must be trimmed and nails clean. All signs must be neatly printed, and any request for peace must begin with please and end with thank you. Remember, a polite protest is far more effective than a rowdy one. So, the members of the Rebels Against the Establishment are meeting at the home of Seymour, the school director, at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Most of the faculty has joined this group, and we'd really like it to get the kids involved. So please check with Seymour if you're interested. You're now dismissed to do your own thing.
Dad, can I march on Washington?
Who else is going?
The senator's son I told you about, the two daughters of the movie star, the niece of a top executive at Young and Rubicon, and the grandson of the vice president in charge of programming at NBC.
NBC? Then there'll be coverage. Stay close to the senator's son and remember to smile.
You march on Washington, score 1 point for maturity, and advance to the nearest political action square.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Benson, and I was sent here to see JoJo, the school psychologist.
I'm JoJo, Mrs. Benson. Please sit down.
Did Phil do something serious? JoJo?
In my experience, Mrs. Benson, when a child writes on the walls, it is usually a signal for help. We don't want to repress the behavior, but we cannot let it continue if it is destructive to others.
Well, what did he write?
On his homeroom wall, he wrote, Phyllis can't make a commitment. And above the drinking fountain in the main hall, just outside the communal lavatory, he wrote, Stuart can't maintain a continuity of relationship. I don't think I have to tell you the kind of damage this has done to Phyllis and Stuart, especially Stuart, who is the only other Gentile in the school and already suffering from a severe loss of self-esteem.
Well, I must say I am relieved, only a little, mind you, that neither one of them were, colored.
In this school, Mrs. Benson, we teach the students that no one is colored.
You have gone wrong in school. Enter treatment and take a probable long-term goals card.
I just don't like the way things are, Doctor. I want to get that across to my peers.
Well, you know, Phil, you can't change the world until you change yourself.
Now that you are exploring your motivation, exchange your opportunity card for a peak maturity card and take a detour to high school.
What are you taking for an extracurricular activity, Mark?
I'm doing the drama society, Phil. I think if I learn to speak with feeling, it'll help me get girls.
What are you taking for an extracurricular activity, Sandy?
I joined the high school newspaper, Phil. I think if I could get the power of the press behind me, it'll help me get boys.
What are you taking for an extracurricular activity, Irving?
I don't think I have any time for any extracurricular activities, Phil. You see, I decided to become a safety patrol boy. Someone's got to do it. There's been too much bloodshed for too long. Too many good kids gone. I want to try and make the corners of this city a place where kids can cross without fear.
Safety patrol. Have I changed myself enough to change the world? Do I have the right to stop traffic? Hey, watch it there, kid! You're safe now. Thank you, safety patrol boy. Next time, wait for the safety patrol to stop traffic before you cross. Do I dare?
You are in conflict. Move to the nearest conflict square, consider the alternatives, and make a mature decision.
Hey, Mark, what do you think about the guys on safety patrol?
I think they're fags.
Oh, yeah, I thought. I just wanted to get another opinion.
You have reached an adaptive resolution. Score 2 points for maturity and continue to adapt.
Who are you going out with, Phil?
I'm going out with Norma Goldstein. She's a very intense, highly intelligent Jewish girl with big, dark eyes, and when she smiles, it just lights up her whole face. Hey, I think I can score.
Phil, I want you to have a copy of this. It's The Prophet.
Well, thanks, Norma.
Now, I want you to read it without intellectualizing.
I'll try to read it in the morning before I go to school. If I don't shave.
This book is an outcry, Phil.
It takes me an hour just to condition my beard.
It's all in there. I believe we have to try to love instead of hate, Phil. I believe we have to try to be good instead of bad. I suppose you think I'm crazy for having these thoughts.
Well, I don't know, Norma. You sure don't pull any punches.
Oh, I can't help it, Phil. I have to be the way I am. I will not conform. Last year, I read the copy of The Prophet aloud at my parents' Seder. My mother cried. She didn't understand. I wanted them to hear the prophet so she could understand love. But in the end, they all spell it F-I-T.
F-I-T?
That's right, that's how they spell everything.
Well, F-I-T spells fit.
I know, that's why the prophet is meaningless to them.
Oh, they spell profit F-I-T.
That's right, that's the absurdity.
I know, nobody knows how to spell anymore, Norma, not even the bright guys. They can't even spell their own names. I blame it on the schools and lack of interest on the part of the establishment.
Phil, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an attitude on the part of society.
Yeah, I know. Hey, if they think of it, they'd rather read by sounding out words rather than memorizing them. They'd rather use sounds and symbols. But that's changing now in a lot of schools.
Phil, I'm talking about values, not spelling. I'm saying that people just don't care.
You know, you're right, they really don't. Hey, if it sounds like an F, spell it with an F. Why bother to look up and see if it's PH? You know, Norma, nobody uses the dictionary anymore.
Give me back the book.
You have failed in your emotional interest. Advance to the nearest narcissistic constellation square and try to recover status.
How'd you make out last night, Phil?
Oh, what Thomas Wolfe says about Jewish girls is true. They really don't just discuss it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
You have just successfully enhanced your image without actually having accomplished anything. Move 2 squares sideways towards security.
Oh, I hope I haven't ruined her reputation or anything.
You are feeling guilt, which entitles you to an additional maturity point, but forfeits your last move. Go back 2 squares to a moral position.
But on the other hand, who knows what she's saying about me?
You are having an adolescent crisis. Enter a new phase in which you lie around at home. Do not shave. Do not collect maturity points. Do not change clothes until your parents notice you.
Phil,
What, Dad?
I want to tell you something.
What, Dad?
Hang on to your youth.
Okay, Dad.
Youth is the most precious thing that you can have.
Thanks, Dad.
And it goes by very fast, Phil.
Dad.
And when it's over, you join the rat race.
Oh, yes, Dad.
I joined the rat race, Phil.
Sorry to hear that, Dad.
I'm not complaining, Phil. It's worth it if it means that you and your mom will have a little security after I'm gone.
That's awful nice of you, Dad.
I'm just sorry. I'm so tired all the time.
It's okay, Dad.
If I weren't so tired, I'd have more time for you.
I understand, Dad.
We could have more of these talks.
Oh, that'd be swell, Dad.
Would you like to borrow the car, Phil?
No, thanks.
Why don't you ever ask to borrow the car, Phil?
I don't like to drive, Dad.
Oh, I wish you did. Then we could have those arguments about you borrowing the car.
Sorry, Dad.
Remember the arguments the father and son had on Leave It to Beaver?
Yes, Dad, sort of.
And on Father Knows Best?
Some of them.
And on the Ozzie Nelson
Oh,
show?
you.
We don't have those kinds of arguments, Phil.
Sorry, Dad.
Is it my fault?
I don't know, Dad. It's probably both our faults.
Oh, let's be a family, Phil, a real family.
Okay, Dad.
I'll try if you try, sport.
Thank you, Dad.
I'm glad we had this little talk, Phil.
Oh, Dad, this has been one of the best talks we've ever had.
Thank you, Phil. And hang on to your youth.
Right, Dad.
And don't mind your mother. She's just a little upset these days.
Is she? I didn't notice.
Good boy. Now, could you move a little to one side? You're standing in front of the set.
You have deepened your rapport with your father. Advance 3 spaces towards security and terminate treatment.
Goodbye, Phil.
Bye, Doctor.
You know, Phil, in the future, may all your troubles be real ones.
Start to think about your college and advance to the nearest probable long-term goal square.
It's between Berkeley, Yale, and the University of Chicago. What do you think, Mom?
Whichever's closest.
It's between Berkeley, Yale, and the University of Chicago. What do you think, Dad?
Pick a college where you can make contacts. Contacts are a very important thing to make in college, Phil. I never had any contacts, so I couldn't afford to go to college. And I couldn't afford to go to college because I didn't have any contacts. That's why I missed out on one of the best experiences a boy can have.
Contacts?
In education.
You receive replies from 3 universities.
Oh, where's that from, Phil?
Oh, it's from Yale.
You are rejected by Yale.
Where's that from, Phil?
It's from Berkeley.
You are rejected by Berkeley.
Where's that from, Phil?
It's from a girl I know in Evanston.
You are rejected by the University of Chicago.
I've known her for years.
Retreat to the nearest panic square.
She often writes me.
Remain there until you are accepted by a university.
Besides, what the hell business is it of yours?
Take an option card.
Now that you're not committed to Berkeley, Yale, or the University of Chicago, I think I'll try the University of Miami.
Any word from the University of Chicago yet, Phil?
I changed my mind about Chicago. It's too big a school. Everyone's trying to make it there. What for? What does it mean? You think I'm going to sell out and join the rat race? Not me. I don't need any of it. I'm going to meditate. That's what Khalil Gibran did. You ever read The Prophet? Hell of a good book. It's an outcry for love.
You are accepted by the University of Miami.
Which I believe the University of Miami embodies in principle.
Advance to the nearest commitment square and begin to examine your potential.
Phil, or Mark, I don't know what to major in. The University of Miami has a terrific curriculum. They give you a lot of choices. I'm torn between hotel management, marketing, public relations, and cinema.
Well, what do you want to do, Phil? What do you really want to do?
Well, you may think this is crazy, or maybe like a kid's fantasy, but I've always had this dream. I always wanted to make it in hotel management. I mean big, like the great ones. Hilton, Sheraton, Knickerbocker.
Then do it, Phil. Don't listen to anyone. Follow your dreams.
Mom, I decided to major in hotel management.
Well, that's nice. Then you can manage a hotel.
Dad, I decided to major in hotel management. Dad! Dad! Am I standing in front of the set?
Yes, but I can talk to you and watch, Phil. You see, I'm thinking about another kid, Phil. A young, wild, crazy kid like you, Phil. Me. A kid with a dream. Who wanted more than anything in the world to own a liquor store. Oh, people told me I was crazy, but I went ahead. I learned everything there was to know about liquor. But I always knew I needed something to fall back on. That's why I joined the civil service. You understand what I'm trying to tell you, Phil?
Yeah, you're trying to tell me to have something to fall back on.
That's right, Phil.
I already have, Dad. I'm minoring in cinema.
Good boy.
Advance 3 spaces and enter college.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Professor Olsen, O-L-S-E-N, and I will be teaching the first semester of Hotel Management 101-102, Organization, Administration, and Management, or as we in the field have come to call it, OAM. OAM! Oh my gosh, look what's happening. Oh, well, what is this? Sorry, class. Anyways, as I was saying, what do we mean when we say OAM? We mean that whatever genius compiles profit and, make no mistake, gentlemen, it is genius, that gross profit may become mythical net. That, gentlemen, is OAM. What else is OAM? Well, when the president, just even the president, goes to his office to get the bill ready for Congress, that's OAM. When I go to my secretary in the morning and ask if she got the mail out on time, that's OAM too. Do I make myself clear? Mr. Johns,
Yes, sir?
did you see the newspaper this morning?
Yes, sir?
Did you see the bill that will make the Defense Department go off budget by $100 billion?
Yes, sir?
What is that, Mr. Johns?
O-A-M?
That's right, that's what it is! You hit the nail on the head! And when you hit the nail on the head, that's OAM too. Now, a much abused term lately has been public relations. Yet no less a corporation than the Hilton hotel chain spends 38% of its budget on public relations. What do you think that's for, Mr. Benson?
Probably for a bunch of spurious purposes, sir.
Spurious.
Yes, sir. It says right here that it's hard to interpret concrete results from an investment in a public relations program.
It says where?
In Fortune magazine.
Is there anyone else who felt the need to bring a magazine to class?
I'm just reporting it, sir. It's just what I read.
Well, then I guess we'll just have to believe that the Hilton hotel chain is run by mindless people.
Wasn't suggesting that, sir.
That's all right. You can suggest anything you like. After all, that is what class is for. Free expression of ideas. Is that all you have to say from your exhaustive research in Fortune magazine? It must have taken you 10 minutes this morning to read it. I'm surprised that you were here on time.
I'm sorry, sir. It just does not seem to be the wisest investment to secure maximum return on the investor's money.
Well, that's just one more case of social injustice you'll have to correct when you get out into the world. Isn't it, Mr. Benson?
Yes, sir.
You have alienated one of your teachers.
Aside from the emotional catharsis, you can't make a very clear case, can you, Mr. Benson?
Forfeit 1 maturity point.
Just reporting it, sir.
Well, do you have any ideas of your own?
No, sir.
And advance 2 squares to other compensations.
I better join something if I can get in.
Advance to a conflict square. Study the choices and make a mature decision.
The new left sounds like fun, and they're doing something meaningful. That means I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Huh, but I'd have to agree with their positions.
We want the right to have a say in university policy, man.
That sounds reasonable.
We want the right for political freedom, man.
I won't argue with that.
We want the right to march in the administration, man.
So far, so good.
You have gained new maturity and the ability to weigh the issues. Score 1 maturity point and continue to probe.
The young conservatives on campus seems intriguing.
Bring Buckley to the people.
Not very many of them.
Get your guns.
Well, not the size is any criteria.
Blast the lefties off the campus.
Well, it seems silly to join a minority that doesn't have the advantage of being persecuted.
Remain on your conflict square and consider other choices.
Kappa 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 is a terrific fraternity. But they're very selective. But I might stand a chance.
We need a top athlete.
Alaska's a consideration.
And we could use a personality, man.
Fielder could come in handy.
Oh, and it might be worth it getting a real brain in hotel management.
That could be worth a thought.
Front!
All paths are open to you. Take an opportunity card.
You make friends with a Negro. This is a real time of crisis for you, isn't it, Harv?
It sure is, Phil. I don't know whether to join the Urban League and attempt to seek equality by peaceful methods, or join SNCC and stir the conscience of the white man by gutting my own neighborhood.
I'm going to tell you something, Harv, and you may think this is crazy, but I believe the future of civil rights lies in the hands of hotel managers. That's one of the things I'm trying to do, Harv. That's why I want to make it an OAM.
You join SNCC and are thrown out of the organization after the first meeting. Remain where you are.
What happened, Phil?
I don't know, Harv. It was very pleasant at first. The speaker was saying at the end of the white man had come, and that all we could do was contribute money, and that our services weren't worth anything. And I'm applauding along with the rest of the crowd. Then he leans down and he says, "You understand that, Whitey?" And I said, "I sure do, Blackie." And I was escorted out of the hall with the pride of my civil rights button.
Don't let it depress you, Phil. You know how those guys get.
Yeah, but I still want to join something worthwhile, Harv, but it's hard to find a militant group. But if there's one on this campus, you can...
You are accepted by Kappa Kappa Kappa.
I made my decision, Harv. I'm going to join Kappa Kappa Kappa. Bore from within. Sure, the easy thing would have been to fight him, but I'm going to effect a change and try to do it inside. I'm not one to run away.
You have made a social adjustment. Take a success card and rise to the top 10% of your class.
Today, gentlemen, I brought Baron Hilton, eldest son of Conrad Hilton, who, as you know, left a very lucrative position with the United States Navy during the Korean War because his father needed him. Now, when he started, I might add, for those of you who are impatient, he was a salesman, but his father took a liking to him and he rose quickly. So if you'll have your questions ready, here is Baron Hilton. Hello, are there any questions?
Mr. Hilton, for those of us who didn't have the foresight to have a father who owned a hotel chain before we were born, do you think you could give us any tips?
I have a question, sir. First, I'd like to congratulate on the fabulous job your chains are doing in the area of public relations. Then I'd like to ask some searching questions concerning on-premise OAM.
Yes?
What is the rate of turnover of your hotel employees?
75%. Do you think that's excessive?
Oh, no, sir. We can learn from people leaving.
You have made an A in OAM. Take a draft deferment card and advance to find the right girl.
I love you, Carol. Do you love me?
Well, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. It's different.
What's the difference?
I'm in love with your roommate.
You have failed with a girl. Return your success card and find another roommate.
I love you, Phil. Do you love me?
I don't know. I'm torn. I'm all blocked. I'm tied up.
Will you call me tomorrow?
I don't know how I'll feel tomorrow. Don't push me.
But then I'll call you, you pick up.
Ah, you're pushing me.
You have reached an emotional impasse. If you do not resolve it by your next turn, you must take a penalty card.
I love you, Doris. Do you love me?
I don't know if I can love, Phil.
Well, when will you know?
Oh, don't try to push me, Phil. I'll only withdraw farther.
I just want to know if you love me.
I have this problem, Phil. I can't take. I can give, but I can't take.
Oh, I can adjust to that.
Oh, you're a good person, Phil. But I can't accept that kind of sacrifice from you. I need someone selfish, even brutal. Someone I won't be afraid to hurt. Someone like your roommate.
You have not resolved it. Take a penalty card.
You find a woman who loves you.
I want to know where I stand, Phil.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Listen, Doris, if I thought marriage would solve it, I really enjoy being with you. And if I were to make the move, you'd be the one I'd call. I hope someday to love and have a home, but right now,
I just want to know.
listen, you have the right to walk away from this conversation anytime you choose. You deserve better than this. Your needs aren't being met either. You're a girl with a lot of love. I have hockey and soccer, but you're a girl and you need love.
I just want an answer.
Well, I'm giving you one.
That's no answer.
You are having an emotional crisis. Score 2 points for maturity.
I just don't want to be unfair to you.
I just want an answer.
I don't know.
All right, then I'm leaving.
Leaving?
Yes, I am.
You're leaving me?
Yes.
That's not what I call loyalty.
Well, I'm sorry, Phil.
Don't tell me you're sorry. Just tell me where I stand.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
Well, listen, if I thought marriage would solve it.
It will. It will.
When?
As soon as I graduate school and get set up in a hotel.
I don't know, Phil. Let me think about it, okay?
You are engaged.
Oh, my God.
Move to the nearest opportunity square and start to build a career.
Hello, Phil. I'm Mr. Sturgeon, a CIA man on campus.
Well, how do you do? I believe we met at the last winter ski meet.
That's right, and I sized you up then, Phil, as the kind of young man who might like to do something for his country one day.
What do I have to do?
Oh, nothing much. We just want to know what's happening, in Hotel Management 101, 102. You know how the students are doing?
Oh, you want me to be an informer, huh, Mr. Sturgeon?
That's right, Phil.
There'll have to be expenses.
Well, we could give you $50 a month, for drinking, dining, double dating, laundry. And when you graduate, we might be able to get you set up with a really nice chain. And do something about making that draft deferment permanent.
Well, here's my first report. Henry Johns has contempt for Baron Hilton. He once ragged him during class.
Oh, we've had our eye on Johns for a long time, Phil. He first came to our attention when he worked for the post office during Christmas season. He sorted a little too quickly and a little too well. And he once made fun of the federal post office system to other employees.
Oh, good. I'm not giving anything away.
Henry Johns is drafted. Retreat 2 spaces to a moral position.
Anybody that would make fun of the federal post office system.
You have justified your position. Advance to graduation and start a promising career with the Hilton hotel chain.
top sheets missing, Mr. Grady.
That's not that unusual, sir.
Well, it might not be unusual, but it's not OAM.
You receive a raise and marry your college sweetheart. Advance to young marrieds.
Doris, we can't afford it. I'll have to sell the car just to make the down payment.
Well, why? If we borrow on the car instead of selling it, then we can make the down payments and keep the car.
What about the interest?
It's tax deductible. Actually, will come out ahead. Don't you want a home?
You go into debt and become a homeowner. Take a credit card and advance towards upward mobility.
The Hilton Mozambique is a real triumph, Mr. Hilton.
It's a nice hotel.
Gee, I don't know which one's my favorite.
Mr. Hilton, I want to talk to you, Mr. Hilton.
Phil, you're a little loaded. Too much party.
I want to tell you what I think of you, Mr. Hilton. Don't push me away. I want to talk to Mr. Hilton.
Who is this man?
Who am I? I'll tell you who I am. I'm Phil Benson. And I manage a Buskin, Wyoming. Hilton.
What is it you wish to tell me, Mr. Benson?
Well, you think you're good, don't you, Mr. Hilton? You think you're good.
Phil, I think...
Well, I'm going to tell you what you are, Mr. Hilton. You're not good. You know what you are? You're great. That's what you are. You're damn unbelievably great. Go ahead and fire me if you want to.
You are transferred to a larger city and have your first child. Advance to fatherhood.
Phil, it's a boy.
I heard. What are you going to name him, Doris?
I thought I named him Dor. After one of the great liberals of our time, Dor Shari. As a matter of fact, I think his middle name should be Shari. Dor Shari Benson.
You receive a raise and buy a second house. Advance towards prosperity.
Doris, I'd like to have a den. You think we can afford it?
Could you move to one side, Phil? You stand in front of the set.
The CIA, in an effort to refurbish its image, drops you from its payroll. Go back 1 square.
Doris, we're going to have to sell.
What?
You buy a second car and are kicked upstairs to chain management. Move 3 spaces sideways towards security.
There are 42 top sheets missing from the Eastern Seaboard chains alone, Mr. Garfine.
Well, that's not that unusual, sir.
Well, it won't be as long as I'm chain manager, Mr. Garfine.
Your son enters school.
How was school today, Dor?
Advance to middle age.
Wait a minute.
The world is getting faster. Take out an insurance policy and advance to political involvement.
Doris, the Chicago Hilton is going to be used by the Democrats for the National Democratic Convention, and guess who's going to be in charge? Yours truly.
Oh, Phil.
I can't wait. Smoke-filled rooms, caucuses, the favorite sons, and all the great ones. Humphrey, Johnson, Dean Rusk, and Mayor Daley.
James Eastland.
This is the moment I've been preparing for all my life. This is what it's all about. This is OAM. I can't wait till my father hears about this.
You're standing in front of the set, Phil!
Dad, look who's on the screen. Look who's being interviewed.
Yes, it's you! You should have moved a little to one side, Phil! You're standing in front of John Chancellor!
You have reached a long-term goal. Advance to emotional fulfillment and take another step towards success.
So how was the convention? Did you meet anyone important? Did you get your photograph taken with Mayor Daley?
You're not going to
Phil,
believe it,
what
Doris.
is it?
You're not going to believe it. Those men were my heroes.
Well, they were a little bit hard on the kids in the pod.
102 top sheets, 41 towels, gone.
What?
Yes, not to mention 27 washcloths and 4 pillowcases.
Phil.
And 2 ashtrays.
Phil, stop itemizing and talk to me.
I just can't believe it, Doris.
Well, what's the problem? I mean, everybody does it, don't they? Don't be so petty.
Petty? Petty? You call honest indignation with the corruption of the Democratic Party petty? I forgave them for taxes. I forgave them for riots. I forgave them for the Warren Commission. Hell, I even forgave them for the war. But this I will not forgive them for. This is a breach of OAM, which is every level of government.
In the midst of your disillusionment, your father dies at the set.
Ah!
Go home and comfort your mother.
I'll take care of you, Mom.
Oh, that's all right, Phil. Your father has left me with several all-inclusive life insurance policies, which guarantee that upon his death, I shall never have to worry about money again. Poor Harry. He never did own that liquor store.
Return home and make it up to your son.
Dora, I want to tell you something.
What is it, man?
Hang on to your youth.
Who wants it? Who needs it? What do I have that's so great, man?
I'm sorry I've been so busy.
You sold out, man. That's why you're so busy. You've all sold out.
I just wanted to have some security for you and your mom when I was gone.
In this rotten world, man, with the bomb 10 minutes away, look, there's no way you can make it up to me, so just give me my allowance and let me go.
Don't have any cash on me right now.
Well, then, could you move a little to one side, man? You're standing in front of the set.
You have failed to reach your son. Advance 3 squares to domestic upheaval and try to do better.
Where are we going, Phil?
What?
We're not going anywhere.
What do you mean? We're going to the Ice Follies. As soon as I get out of the park, we'll be on 59th Street.
No, I mean we're not going anywhere.
Well, where do you want to go?
Somewhere.
You are having trouble with your wife.
Anywhere.
Go back 3 spaces to an extramarital affair.
I love you, Shirley. Do you love me?
Oh, I don't know, Phil. I honestly don't know.
When will you know?
There's no room in your life for me, Phil. I'm just someone for you to have fun with.
No, you're not.
Where are we going, Phil?
Advance 1 square and go home.
I'm home, Doris.
Where are we going, Phil?
You have lost faith in the Democratic Party. Your son does not look up to you. Your wife does not understand you. Your mistress will not sleep with you.
This is a hard game.
Score 12 maturity points and advance towards retirement.
And so, to Phil Benson, the Hilton Hotel chain awards you this solid golden grave master key that fits any utility closet of any Hilton hotel on the eastern seaboard.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I will wear this key next to my heart for as long as I live, for it means I've kept the faith and raised the standards and managed to live by the rules of OAM.
You have retired with moderate wealth. Take 2 steps towards security and have a coronary occlusion.
Oh, hold on, Phil. Hold on, we'll be home in a minute. Oh, dear. Just hang in there, Phil. Hang in there, honey.
I'll get a taxi, man. Taxi, taxi.
Which way you headed?
Uptown.
I don't go uptown.
Sit down and rest, Phil. I'll call an ambulance.
No. You'll never get crossed out in time, Doris. Did you pay the life insurance policy?
Yes, Phil.
Oh, I wish I could have played a little bit longer. I could have found that security square if I had.
Oh, we are secure, Phil. The house is almost paid for. We own the car, and the AT&T stock brings a small but steady income.
But I wanted so much more. I had so many dreams. I wanted to earn that super bonus card. I wanted to have a little house in the country with a small heated pool and 1 or 2 little hotels. A high yield stock with minimum risk. And I wanted to send Dora to a really good college where he could make contacts, wear the best clothes, drive the best cars that money could buy, and be a real college boy. And I wanted to be on imminent terms. I wanted to be on imminent terms with a congressman or a movie star where my dad would have been proud of me. My mother would have thought I was somebody. But I never achieved any of those things, Doris. Where did I go wrong?
You aim too high, Phil.
Maybe. But it was worth it. I had a dream, a simple American dream. And I would have rather had that dream and never realized it than to have nothing but the actuality of what I did have. See to it. That door carries the torch.
You have spoken your last words. Remain where you are and die.